Welcome to Karen's place, the space she uses to innovate. She'll make sure you're left thinking, I could do the same thing. Karen says, just do it. There ain't nothing to it. Just do it.
Welcome back to part 5 of this 12-part series, diving deep into the creative world of Karen Eastland.
Indeed, it has been a journey.
Yeah, it really has. We've seen Karen, our Tasmanian artist extraordinaire, using AI in some really mind-blowing ways. Writing songs, generating visuals, even crafting podcasts.
And this week we're zeroing in on a specific challenge Karen's facing in her music production process.
Right.
Her search for the perfect AI tool to seamlessly integrate text and imagery.
In her album art.
Yes.
It's one thing to have a striking visual, but imagine text woven directly into the artwork itself.
Yeah.
That's the holy grail Karen's after, and it's turning out to be a tougher nut to crack than she anticipated.
Absolutely. And as we've seen, Karen's been a huge fan of Suno V4 for composing music.
Right.
But it's primarily an audio-focused tool.
Yeah, makes sense.
So when it came to this specific visual challenge, Suno V4 wasn't quite the right fit.
Yeah, it's like trying to use a hammer to paint a masterpiece.
Exactly.
So what did Karen turn to when Suno V4 fell short?
Well, she actually explored a couple of other AI art generators first, Nightcafé and Krea.
Okay.
But from what we can gather from her notes, she wasn't able to achieve the level of precision and accuracy she desired for text integration with those platforms.
So it sounds like she really did her homework trying out different options before settling on a particular tool.
Exactly. And that's when Ideogram AI entered the picture.
Okay.
Karen specifically started using Ideogram to create album covers, particularly for her AI-generated heavy metal band, Wrecked and Ready.
Okay, hold on. An AI-generated heavy metal band. I'm already hooked. Tell me more.
Well, we'll definitely dive deeper into them later in the series. But for now, imagine Karen uses AI to compose the music,
wow,
craft the lyrics, and even design the band's visual identity.
It's like she's creating an entire virtual world. And Ideogram is her tool for bringing those visuals to life.
Yes, exactly.
That's wild. Okay, back to Ideogram. Is it living up to Karen's expectations? Is she able to get that perfect blend of text and visuals she's been searching for?
That's where things get interesting. While Ideogram has shown promise in its ability to generate text within images, Karen notes that it's still proving difficult to achieve truly accurate and seamless integration. The AI seems to stumble when faced with more complex text or detailed visuals.
So even with this cutting-edge technology, there are still limitations.
Yes.
It makes you wonder what those limitations tell us about the current state of AI.
Precisely. It highlights the fact that while AI is incredibly powerful, it's still evolving.
Right.
Certain creative challenges, like perfectly marrying text with complex visuals, remain tough for AI to master without some degree of human intervention.
So what's Karen's take on this? Is she giving up on Ideogram, or is she doubling down on her efforts to make it work?
Here's where we see Karen's tenacity shining through. Despite the hurdles, she's continued to experiment, pushing the boundaries of what Ideogram can achieve.
Right.
In fact, after trialing the software, she decided to purchase a full subscription, signaling her commitment to mastering this tool.
That's dedication.
Yeah.
I guess when you're passionate about pushing creative boundaries, you don't let a few technical challenges stand in your way.
Exactly. And this dedication reveals a key insight about the relationship between artists and AI. It's not about simply handing the reins over to the machine.
Right.
It's about understanding its strengths, recognizing its limitations, and finding creative ways to bridge the gap between your artistic vision and what the AI can deliver.
So even though those text integration capabilities aren't quite perfect, yet she's found enough value in Ideogram to make it part of her creative arsenal.
Right, and that's a fascinating point. Karen hasn't abandoned Nightcafé and Krea entirely.
Okay.
She's still using them in her workflow.
Interesting.
Likely for tasks where text integration isn't as crucial.
Makes sense.
It seems she's developing a nuanced understanding of which AI tool is best suited for different artistic needs.
Right.
Almost like a painter selecting specific brushes for different effects.
That makes sense. And it speaks to the broader trend we're seeing with AI adoption across many fields. It's not about finding one magical tool to do it all.
Right.
It's about building a toolkit of specialized AI solutions and knowing how to leverage each one effectively.
Exactly. And Karen's willingness to embrace this multi-tool approach underscores a crucial point about the evolving relationship between artists and AI.
Okay.
It's not about replacement, it's about augmentation. AI is becoming a powerful ally in the creative process, offering new possibilities and pushing the boundaries of artistic expression.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. It seems like Karen's journey is less about chasing perfection and more about relentless experimentation and pushing the limits of what's possible with these emerging technologies.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And that spirit of experimentation is precisely what we'll be exploring further in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm already intrigued. But before we move on, I want to pose a question to you, the listener. As AI art tools become more sophisticated, do you think there will come a day when they can seamlessly integrate text and visuals? Or will that always require a human artist's touch? It's something to ponder as we continue our exploration.
Indeed, and speaking of exploration in the next part, we'll be delving into another fascinating aspect of Karen's creative process, how she uses AI to not just generate visuals, but also to craft compelling narratives for her AI-generated metal band.
Stay tuned.
It's fascinating to see how Karen is pushing the boundaries of AI in her art, but she's not just blindly adopting technology.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, from what we've gathered from her journals, Karen seems acutely aware of the potential pitfalls.
Precisely. She's expressed concerns about AI tools becoming too dominant in the creative process,
Right.
potentially stifling human expression and leading to a sort of artistic homogenization.
That's a valid concern. If everyone relies on the same algorithms and datasets, will we end up with a sea of similar-looking and sounding art?
It's a question worth considering. Karen seems to believe that the key lies in striking a balance.
Okay.
Using AI as a powerful tool for exploration and inspiration, but always maintaining the human artist's critical eye and unique perspective.
So it's not about letting the AI dictate the creative direction,
Right.
but rather using it as a collaborative partner, almost like a sounding board or a brainstorming buddy.
Exactly. And that's where her approach gets really interesting. She talks about guiding the AI, using carefully crafted prompts and constantly tweaking parameters to achieve the desired results.
Okay.
It's like she's having a conversation with the machine, nudging it in the right direction while allowing space for unexpected outcomes.
That sounds like a very deliberate and thoughtful approach to using AI.
Yeah.
It's not just about feeding data into a black box and hoping for the best.
Right. It's about understanding the nuances of the technology, knowing its strengths and limitations, and using that knowledge to shape the creative output.
I'm starting to understand why Karen's work is generating so much buzz. She's not just creating cool art with AI, she's thoughtfully engaging with the technology and its implications.
Absolutely. And this thoughtful engagement extends beyond the purely artistic realm.
Yeah.
Karen's also grappling with the ethical considerations surrounding AI-generated art.
Okay, let's talk about that. What specific ethical concerns has she raised?
Well, one issue that she's particularly concerned about is the potential for AI to perpetuate existing biases.
Okay.
She's noted that many AI art generators are trained on massive data sets of images and text scraped from the internet,
Right.
which can reflect societal biases and prejudices.
That makes sense. If the AI is learning from data that's already skewed, it's likely to reproduce those biases in its output.
Exactly. And Karen's actively working to mitigate this by carefully curating the data she feeds into her AI tools and critically evaluating the output for any signs of bias.
So it sounds like she's taking a very proactive approach to ensuring that her AI-generated art is both ethically sound and representative of her own values.
She is. And this commitment to ethical considerations speaks volumes about her approach to AI as a whole. It's not just a tool for creating cool stuff, it's a technology with profound implications that she's actively grappling with.
It's refreshing to hear about an artist who's so deeply engaged with the ethical aspects of AI.
Right.
Often the focus is solely on the technological advancements.
Right.
But Karen's approach highlights the human element in this equation.
It does. And this human element is key to understanding the true potential of AI in art. It's not about replacing human artists. It's about empowering them with new tools and possibilities.
I'm curious about how this interplay between human and AI plays out in Karen's music production process. We've talked about her use of Sino V4 for composing music, but how does that collaboration actually work?
Well, it's important to remember that Suno V4 isn't just a music-making robot.
All right.
It's a tool that Karen uses to explore different sonic landscapes and spark new creative ideas.
Good.
She might feed it a melody, a chord progression, or even a text description of a mood or feeling. And the AI will generate musical variations based on those inputs.
So it's like having a virtual jam session with a musical partner who can come up with unexpected melodies and harmonies.
Exactly. And Karen can then take those AI-generated snippets, refine them, combine them with her own musical ideas, and ultimately craft a complete composition.
It's a fascinating blend of human intuition and machine learning, each pushing the other in new creative directions.
It is. And this collaborative process is leading to some truly unique and innovative music. We'll be delving into specific examples of Karen's AI-powered music later in the series.
Right.
But for now, it's enough to say that it's unlike anything you've heard before.
Okay, I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
But before we move on to Karen's music, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Her use of AI to craft narratives for her AI-generated heavy metal band, Wrecked and Ready. Can you tell us more about that?
Of course. This is where we see Karen's storytelling prowess coming into play. She's not just creating music and visuals for Wrecked and Ready. She's building a whole mythology around the band, a backstory that adds depth and intrigue to their music.
So she's using AI to create not just the sonic and visual elements, but also the narrative foundation for this band.
Exactly. And this narrative building process is where AI tools like large language models come in handy.
Okay.
Karen can feed these models prompts like, write a backstory for a heavy metal band formed in a post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Wow.
Or generate lyrics about a robot uprising, and the AI will produce text based on those prompts.
It sounds like a science fiction writer's dream come true.
Well,
But how does Karen ensure that these AI-generated narratives align with her artistic vision?
Well, just like with her approach to music composition and visual art, she doesn't simply accept the AI's output at face value. She carefully reviews the generated text edits, refines it, and blends it with her own ideas to create a cohesive and compelling narrative.
So it's another example of her using AI as a collaborative partner, a source of inspiration and raw material that she then shapes and molds into her own unique creation.
Precisely. And this collaborative process is what makes Karen's work so fascinating.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to experiment to push the boundaries of what's possible with these new technologies, but she's also mindful of the importance of maintaining a human touch, a critical eye, and a unique artistic vision.
It's a delicate balance, and one that Karen seems to be navigating with both skill and grace.
Yeah.
I'm eager to see how this balance plays out in her music.
Me too. And that's where we'll be heading in the next part of our deep dive. We'll be exploring how Karen uses AI to compose, produce, and even perform music, creating soundscapes that are both familiar and utterly alien.
Okay, I'm already hooked.
Yeah.
But before we journey into the sonic world of Karen Eastland, I want to leave you, the listener, with something to consider.
This is the part where we engage our audience, right?
Exactly. So think about this. As AI becomes more integrated into the creative process, how do we ensure the human artists are not overshadowed by the machines? How do we maintain the value of human creativity in a world increasingly dominated by algorithms? It's a question that deserves careful consideration as we venture further into this uncharted territory.
Indeed. It's a question that Karen Eastland is actively exploring through her work. And as we delve deeper into her musical creations, we'll gain further insights into the evolving relationship between human and machine art and technology.
Stay tuned for part 3, where we'll be diving into the sonic world of Karen Eastland and her AI-generated music. It's a journey you won't want to miss. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of Karen Eastland.
It's been quite a journey exploring her innovative use of AI in art and storytelling.
It has. We've seen how she's using AI to generate visuals, craft narratives, and even compose music. But now, I want to focus on what might be the most mind-blowing aspect of her work.
Okay.
Her AI-generated heavy metal band, Wrecked and Ready.
Wrecked and Ready, a perfect example of how Karen takes these cutting-edge AI tools and pushes them beyond their conventional uses.
Exactly. So much of the conversation around AI art focuses on static images or short musical snippets, but Karen has created a fully realized band, complete with backstories, album art, and of course some seriously heavy music.
It's as if she's built an entire virtual world populated by these AI-generated musicians who are rocking out in a post-apocalyptic wasteland.
Okay, paint a picture for me. What does this AI-generated music actually sound like? Is it even remotely listenable?
Listenable. It's incredible. Imagine the raw energy of classic heavy metal bands like Black Sabbath or Metallica,
Okay.
but with a futuristic, almost otherworldly twist.
Wow.
There are these distorted guitar riffs, thunderous drums, and soaring vocals that wouldn't sound out of place in a dystopian sci-fi film.
I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
Yeah.
She's using AI to create music that's not just technically proficient, but also emotionally evocative.
Exactly. And that's what makes Wrecked and Ready so fascinating. It challenges our preconceived notions of what AI can achieve in the realm of music.
Right.
It's not just about algorithms crunching data and spitting out generic tunes. There's a real sense of artistry at play here. A fusion of Karen's creative vision and the AI's ability to generate unexpected sonic landscapes.
So how does this creative partnership actually work in practice? Is she sitting there coding melodies, or is there a more intuitive process involved?
From what we can gather from her notes, it seems to be a highly iterative process. She might start with a simple musical idea,
Okay.
a riff or a chord progression, and then feed it into Sino V4.
And then the AI takes over from there.
Not quite. It's more like a back and forth exchange. The AI might generate several variations on that initial idea, some of which might be interesting, others less so.
Oh.
Karen then listens, critically selects the elements she likes, and feeds them back into the AI, refining the composition with each iteration.
It sounds like a musical conversation with both Karen and the AI contributing to the creative process.
Precisely. And what's remarkable is how seamlessly those contributions blend together.
Yeah.
It's often difficult to tell where the human input ends and the AI's contribution begins.
That's the hallmark of a truly successful collaboration, isn't it?
Yeah.
When the individual contributions merge into something greater than the sum of their parts.
It is. And in the case of Wrecked and Ready, that something greater is a sonic experience that's both familiar and utterly alien.
Wow.
A testament to the power of human-AI collaboration in the realm of music.
Okay, I have to admit, I'm incredibly curious to hear this music for myself.
You and everyone else who's been following Karen's journey. And that brings us to an interesting point.
Okay.
The way she's chosen to share Wrecked and Ready with the world is just as unconventional as the music itself.
Oh.
How so? Well, she hasn't signed with a record label or released the music on traditional streaming platforms.
Okay.
Instead, she's created a dedicated website for Wrecked and Ready, a portal into this virtual world she's built.
So it sounds like she's bypassing the traditional gatekeepers of the music industry and taking control of her own distribution.
Exactly. And this independent approach is consistent with everything we've learned about Karen so far.
Right.
She's a trailblazer, a creative force who's not afraid to challenge conventions and forge her own path.
It's inspiring to see an artist embracing the possibilities of technology while also maintaining such a strong sense of artistic autonomy.
It is. And this spirit of independence is something we see reflected in the Wrecked and Ready mythology as well.
Okay.
These AI-generated musicians aren't just performing for an audience. They're rebels, survivors, fighting for their place in a post-apocalyptic world.
It's a narrative that resonates with our current times, wouldn't you say?
Right.
A sense of uncertainty, of pushing back against systems that feel broken or oppressive.
Absolutely. And that's perhaps what makes Karen's work so compelling. It's not just about the technical wizardry of AI. It's about using those tools to tell stories that connect with us on an emotional level.
All right.
Stories that reflect our anxieties, our hopes, and our enduring human spirit.
Well said. As we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Karen Eastland, I'm struck by her unwavering belief in the power of art to challenge, inspire, and ultimately transform us.
She's a true visionary, using AI not as a replacement for human creativity, but as a catalyst.
Right.
A tool for expanding the boundaries of artistic expression and exploring new realms of possibility.
And her journey is far from over. Who knows what groundbreaking creations she'll unleash upon the world next?
One thing's for sure, we'll be here to explore them with you. Until then, keep your ears open, your minds curious, and never stop questioning the boundaries of what's possible in the ever-evolving world of art and technology.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.
Thanks for stopping in. Karen will be here again next week to make new friends and share her week's end with you.